What is up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next... Hold on, I gotta turn off this illumination real fast. You're not allowed to have light when you're playing the Long Dark. It's called the Long Dark. You can expect some shadows and some general lack of luminescence when we play the game. Anyways, welcome back to the Long Dark. My name is Splattercat. I just woke up from a long nap known as sleeping, and then I think we're gonna get started. I think we're gonna go to the right today, actually. I'm trying to remember exactly what I was working on. I just organized all the inventory, so that's good to go. The only thing that we really have... Oh, there's 2 hours of daylight left. Well, that's disappointing. Let's go check the cars. I said I was gonna check the cars for, like, the little gas cap thing that they said that you were able to mess with. Ain't nothing over there so far. Huh. Well, you can open the fuel cover, but you can't really do much with it. The trunk's locked, so apparently I never came back here and knocked open all the trunks. Sorry. I might be momentarily interrupted. My cat has this new... So, my kitten is the worst. I've explained this to you on the channel. He's the worst behaved animal I've ever seen in my life. And I'm trying to reform him, but it's not working. And I think he must have been some kind of like SeaWorld performance animal in a past life. Because on my boom mic, there's like a little arm on the back end with like a little pom-pom type thing on the end. It's like a little circular bit of plastic. And so anyways... He runs through and he jumps and he hits the little bit of plastic and it spins the mic around and hits me in the face. And so if you hear me stop talking for any extended amount of time and I'm just like, rah, and you hear me raging in the background shouting, it's because my cat has done this like 700 times today. And the boom mic is just far enough away to where I can't grab him every time that he does it. And it's just like, ah, it's infuriating. It really is. He has mastered the art of kitty trolling and he is working on my last nerve right now. I have several nerves. He has spent the last few days severing all of them. Every couple of days he learns like a new obnoxious habit. For example, 2 days ago, he got a new habit that I had to correct that was actually difficult. This one was hard because he would go into the litter box, and I use litter box liners, which are like these plastic things that... Oh! It's a good thing I didn't leave that behind then, isn't it? Well, maybe I should check the rest of these too. It's pretty warm out here now that we've repaired our clothes. But anyways, a couple of days ago he got a new habit that I had to correct, which was a pain in the ass because it was very, very delicate. You go into the litter box, and he would dig down to the bottom of the litter. No matter how much litter you put in, he digs all the way down to the bottom, and then he just takes like 25 minutes and shreds all the plastic out of the bottom and throws it all over the house. So there's just like poopy, pissy plastic all over the living room. And I was just like, oh my god, this animal. This animal. I may have to commit, I don't know, felimicide? I don't even know what to call felicide. There we go, felicide will work. Felinicide. Infantifelinus, so you gotta like stack it up a... Can't decide what that wolf's up to. I think he's running from something, maybe me, because I shot that other wolf. There's a lot of wolves around here. The 5 extra bullets will be appreciated, though. That means that we've almost got a full magazine to reload the next round. Wolf's headed off that way. Okay. Well.
The sun is setting. It's going to get a lot colder soon.
That's fine. It can get as cold as it wants. I'm used to the cold shoulder. It's the rest of the cold me that I'm a little bit worried about. For right now, though, things are looking okay. The Quonset gas station. Got a deer hide. That's all looking good. We got the fresh bear hides almost there. We'll be able to make a bear bedroll. That'll be pretty cool. Although, I think that all there may be left to do is just sleep through the night right now. So let me go ahead and I'm going to drink a little bit of water. I don't know how thrilling this series is to all of you. It's a question that I have, like, how is this series doing? I know that, you know, it's not the most amazing of gameplay just sitting around doing jack-ish all day. Trying to duck wolves, but I mean at a certain point you kind of just got to settle down and be like, yeah, we're not doing anything today in this episode. I'm just going to explore a little bit further. I have no idea how to get to Desolation Point, so I should probably figure that out at some point. I assume they opened up one of the freeways or something to get over there, and so that's probably what I'll run down. We're a little bit thirsty. I think we can make it till morning without eating, but the water is going to be a concern, as it always has been halfway through the night. And so there goes a little bit more right there. We'll give it 6 more hours. Because we need to make sure that we sleep through the worst part of the morning. I don't want it to count against us. If we just have to walk back and go to sleep again, it's a waste of time. And so there it is. All ready to go. Drink some further water just to get the weight allotment down a little bit. I'm going to eat both those steaks before we head on out. Really, really, really hoping that we aren't camped by wolves right now. That would be an issue for which I don't really have any prescription. It would be an illness and a sickness for which I lack the panacea. However, there's no wolves around. We're going to go to the right, and we're going to see if we can't find the Hunter's Lodge. Maybe line up a couple more bullets. In addition, people keep asking me to make the bow, but I forgot to bring all my cured sticks with me, so we can't make the bow, unfortunately. Until we find a few more cured elm limbs or whatever the hell, it's not going to be an option. Not an item. I should have made the bow before we left, and I just didn't think about it, unfortunately. It does look like we got a little bit of weather, but we should be able to weather it, I guess, perfectly fine without too many problems. I'm keeping an eye out for basements and whatnot. I know there used to be a basement over here somewhere, but I can't really see it. People had explained in a couple episodes ago, I had asked why we can't, like, siphon off propane or butane or whatever from those big tanks. Apparently there's a reason why we can't do it. There's, like, a engineering, I'm not really sure. It might be just pressurized gas or something like that. Still, they did answer my question, so thanks for that. I appreciate it when people go out on a limb for me right there and try to answer my dumb questions about life and things that I don't know. Although I will add that it's never a dumb question to ask for clarification on how something works. I find mechanics and like anything about anything works to how anything works to be really, really fascinating. And so it's an easy way to get yourself into a deep conversation with me. Even if I don't know anything about it, I'll just ask you questions. I watched my friend disassemble a car the other day for a little while. It was kind of cool. He was cutting a hole. He was cutting a hole in the frame underneath where the driver's seat goes. Because apparently the metal was all... He's got this car and he's trying to get it fixed up like from scratch. He's got it down to like a frame right now. It's got like nothing else. And he had to like go through... He cut the bottom of the frame out underneath the seat because it was rusted or something like that. And now he's welding plates back into it and doing a bunch of other stuff. I think he does SIG welding as far as I know. I know a buddy of mine was bugging him to teach him how to do it. And he was like, yeah, I'll show you. It's easy. And I was like, well, cool. If you're going to teach him, show me how to do it too. It never hurts to learn how to weld or, you know, solder. That's one of the biggest things about my life that I regret, kids. Right there. One of the biggest things. My dad is one of the most handiest dudes ever. Like, it doesn't matter, like, the thing that you bring. He can, like, fix it or he can make it better or, like, overclock it. It doesn't matter. Like, he'll take any object and just, like, make it better by, like, 600% if you give him an afternoon in his workshop with it. And that's one of the benefits. My dad always enjoyed fixing and building shit when we were kids. He always had these big projects going on. And one of the benefits of him being a roofer is that he now has an entire workshop just full of, like, random machinery, like jigsaws and just all kinds of random machining tools and stuff like that. And so essentially at his house, you can get, like, anything you need to get done at a moment's notice. It's not even that difficult. Oh, I got a deer over there. I could use the deer hide, but I'd rather save the bullet. For right now, we've got all kinds of... What is that right there? For a second, I thought those little knobs on the left side of the road were moving. I was like, what are those, goats? What the hell is that? I got confused for a minute. Do you guys have mountain goats in Canada? We have them here. Down in Arizona. Actually, kind of down near New Mexico, Arizona. There's like some mountain goaty type things. They're actually chivos who got loose from ranches. They're not like native to the area, but they run around in the mountains out there. They got pretty good at it, though. They might as well be native. They can walk straight up like a sheer cliff anymore. They've been out there, I think, for 60, 70 years, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Ain't no predators out there to kill them. Nothing but coyotes that get the young every now and again, but coyotes are getting to be a problem, too. Coyotes are always a problem, though, when I was a kid growing up. Oh, yeah, but anyways, one of my biggest regrets. I got to finish my sentences and my thoughts. I've been really working on, like, smoothing that over and trying to get better at it. We also need to keep a lookout. Oh, it's right there. So we appear to have missed a junction here. That or it loops back right up here when we get this berm. We got this big block of snow over here. I'm assuming that's a rock that's covered in snow because how a big chunk of snow like that, aside from an avalanche, would get to right here. I don't know. That'd be hella crazy if you could set off avalanches in this game. Fire a gun on one of these trails and everything starts to slide. What? That'd be super wild. I'm also keeping an eye out for ravens and crows or whatever else, just to see if there's any dead bodies, because every now and again you get lucky. And there's just stuff laying around. Oh, look, there's a house up here. Cool. Alright then, well anyways, my biggest regret is that I was never... my dad was always offering to show me how to do stuff when I was growing up, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna go skateboard with my friends, I'm gonna go do this, I don't have time, nah, it's a mistake. Hands down, it was a mistake. And now that I'm older, I ain't got time to learn anymore because I'm always working. And so, turns into one of those things where you should definitely invoke the knowledge of the old man, or the old lady. Well, old lady is, that's weird how your old man is your dad, but your old lady is your wife. That's weird, isn't it? Like, you'd think the terminology would be one for one across. But anyways, would recommend it. If your dad knows a shit ton of stuff about cars, you should probably absorb that. He spent his balls. He spent his whole life like learning about whatever that particular subject is. Like I have a friend whose dad works for Seagate or something like that. He designs hard drives. He works in R&G. It's the more gangster version of R&D. He works in R&D designing hard drives for Seagate or something like that. He's retired now, but my friend knows all kinds of like random shit about hard drives because he took the time to learn from his dad. You should definitely take the time, too. It's a mistake not to. Only so much time in this world for resource acquisition and knowledge cultivation. As you get older, you're going to find out that time becomes the research. Like, when you're young, you've got loads and loads of time to spend on, like, whatever you want. You get older, you start to realize that time's at a premium. You ain't got none anymore. You're like, well, damn. I got like an hour and a half a day, and it's at midnight where I can do what I want to do. How did this happen? Let's step on into here. Metal container, keep us all locked down. This is what I like about the channel. This is what I feel is... I know some people, like, I've talked to other YouTubers and they're like, dude, why do you talk about, like, such random, like, downer stuff? I'm like, it's not downer stuff. Oh, try to get the painkiller. This headache is killing me, he said, not knowing that he had caught a malignant headache. I've got some tomato soup over here. I'm really iffy on tomato soup. Sometimes I like tomato soup. Sometimes I don't. Kind of depends. Like, people that make tomato soup with milk, I don't feel okay about that. But then again, sometimes with water, I don't like it either. I'm just kind of picky about it. But some people are always like, I don't understand why you talk about stuff that's kind of middle of the road or kind of like downerish or kind of heavy or at least like deep thought type stuff. Like, just tell more jokes, man. And I'm like, well, sometimes there's a time for joking. There's that right there. Now I just got to figure out how the hell we're going to loop our dumbass up there. I would highly recommend in a survival situation, not trying to shear. I free climb stuff like this right here. I mean, that's not too bad. I wouldn't hit that part right there. I'd hit that. I'd go up and then I'd free climb the rest of it. Every now and then, but that's because I'm drawing maps and sometimes you need to get to a spot where you have to take a measurement in order to do triangulation or whatever else. Like, you need that spot. And if you can't get to that spot, it means you have to do a whole bunch of more work. And me being the lazy asshole that I am, I'd rather put my life at risk and be like, I'm going to climb up this thing than actually, walk the long way around or whatever. Still, it looks like we got a long walk over here. God. So much stuff to do. I'm going to pick up some sticks while we're over here, too. I do like sticks. Sticks are helpful. We got that fire log, but that's not going to be enough long term. I think that stocking up on firewood might not be. We're not... See, that's the thing that I'm really at odds with right now, is that I'm stockpiling all this stuff, but realistically, once we loot out the entire map, why would we stay here? You know what I mean? Once we clear out the entire map, it gets kind of boring just like sitting around eating food all day and just like standing, in the middle of your house waiting for time to pass, seeing how high you can get your little score to go with your days survived. And so I assume we're probably going to be nomadic and move on. Where are they going? I don't know if something spooked them. Huh. I don't see anything. I mean, it could just be a flock of birds. Obviously, that's up to coincidence. However, tread carefully. I guess something spooked him or made him fly off instead of sitting where they were. Could have just been the natural thing that birds do, or it could have been one of our wolfy friends trying to get himself some poultry. Speaking of which, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. I'm recording. I always pre-record, so you should always assume that I pre-record everything. That's just, it's what I do here at the Nerd Castle. It's the only way that I get to take a day off every now and again. So usually what I'll do is I spend 6 or 7 hours a day recording episodes, and then I edit them out. Depending on the series, it takes a little while longer. I only mention this because people ask what my work schedule is, and so I usually start recording around 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm a late riser, and I stay up late too, usually working. And so anyways, I usually get up around 10 o'clock. I'll usually start work at 11 or 12. I'll go for about 5 hours, I'd say, is usually how long my recording session goes, assuming nothing goes wrong. There's no catastrophic failures of equipment or anything like that. And things do go wrong maybe, I don't know, once every couple of weeks. I'll have a really, really long day where you sit around doing just nothing but the YouTube channel all day. Still, it's work that I enjoy. So, I don't enjoy editing, actually. That's one of the reasons I actually make unedited content, is because I don't find editing to be incredibly stimulating. I know how to do it. Like, I can make it happen. I can do jump cuts. I can do all the fancy stuff that other channels do. Like, I'm aware. I've figured out how to do it all, and I've put it into practice. I've made practice videos and stuff like that over and over and over again. It's weird how much faster you get at editing, too, as time goes along. Like when I used to edit, like the smallest things would take me like 30 minutes, and now I could practically do it with my eyes closed. It's like just like firing things out real fast. But anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. And depending on the series, so for Fallout, it'll probably take me an hour and a half to 2 hours to edit a batch of episodes, maybe. For something like this where it's pretty much 100% uncut, you don't really have to worry about it. It looks like it's ducking down. I'm gonna go up on this hill real fast. Spatially, I feel like maybe it's ducking down a little bit too far for me. And we might have missed the shack. Hey, we got a sapling over here. Good. I will absolutely take that. I don't know if the maple sapling was the one that we needed in order to make a bow. It's either the maple or the birch. But that'll do it for right now. Hold on to it. I'm going to add here that crafting a bow from scratch is pretty unrealistic unless you're already a handy sort of woodworker type guy. I'd be impressed. Creating a bow is actually really, really difficult. Comes down to oiling the wood for like weeks at a time and stuff like that so that the flexure of the wood gets good. It's a pain in the ass. It is a pain in the ass to make a real bow. And that's assuming you've got sandpaper and everything else you need in order to make it work. You're not just doing it by, hand, making yourself like a short little recurve type deal. There it is right there. Good. Well, this is going to be our next big loot location, so I'm going to try and make it count, because it took us a while to walk up in here. The game has a lot of trudging nowadays, which I think some people are up against. I kind of liked how you could run places before. However, running now has been severely, severely nerfed, and so it's a bad plan. I'm going to take this old man's beard out of here, though, so I can make some more antibiotic wrappings. And then it's the antibiotic wrap. Please don't rub your wounds with the crap that comes from a dog beast's ass. A dog beast is kind of like a dog, but I read that somewhere where people would leave booby traps back in the day, and they would just like smear them in dog shit so that it was like guaranteed to get infected when you stepped on it or when you got caught by the snare. Shit's brutal. That's really gnarly. That's like guaranteeing you're gonna kill somebody, or at least that they're gonna lose a limb. Fishing for amputations. That's when shit gets real. I'm like, damn, can't you just kill him? Like, what was wrong with just killing him? You gotta cause a severe wound that can go gangrenous, and then he's gotta lose a limb and live the rest of his life mangled. That sucks, man. I mean, given the choice, I guess. I guess it's time to man. I guess I'll take the amputation if we have modern technology. It's like 1800s type shit though, where I just gotta like chew on a broom handle while they saw my leg off. I don't feel good about that. Those places have been ransacked. Okay. Not really what I was looking for. Magnifying lens is alright. Nothing back there. There's a round underneath the chair, but my arm's super itchy. Oh, so much better. Alright, so I had to itch my arm. This is the phase where I itch my arm. Then I find a round that can do some harm. Gonna kill myself a wolf and make a meatball parm. I really like meatballs on any type of sandwich. Just feels unnecessary. It feels like an overabundance of meat that should not be on that sandwich. I prefer cold cuts, though. I grew up around delis and stuff like that, so the whole meatball craze thing never did it for me. I don't know. I've yet to have a sandwich with a meatball on it that felt like the meatballs should be there, like it was a contributing member of the sandwich society that was, there's a dot of spit on my screen right now. I sneeze a lot. I do the vampire sneeze too into my arm, and yet somehow it still ends up on my screen. So anyways, I've got screen wipes around here somewhere. It's just my house is in such disarray anymore, given how busy I am a lot of the time. Did I finish my story about how long it takes me to make videos and like my overall editing process? So anyways, on a series like this, it's pretty much like a 6 or 7 hour workday. It's usually not too bad. I just got to babysit it once I start the rendering and make sure I don't have any major screw-ups. Uploading takes a while right now because YouTube's being weird. I think they're migrating their data storage or something. I have no idea what's going on with YouTube right now, but my uploads have gone from taking like 10 minutes to taking like, I don't know, an hour and a half. I think it might be my hard drive too. I go through hard drives super vicious style. Like, you all have no idea. I probably do, an average Fraps video, for example, like if I record using Fraps, an average Fraps video can be upwards of 100 gigs. And that's stuff that's being written and deleted every single day. And so I can record like a terabyte's worth of data a day if I'm using Fraps. And then that's going on and off the hard drive. I burn through a hard drive, I'd say, every 3 months. You can hear them start to rattle, and the little arm will stop, the little actuator inside there will stop working. You'll hear it start to strain. And this one's actually, the drive that I'm uploading from only has like 30 gigs of space left on it, so I'm assuming it might be the hard drive. Not going to blame it on YouTube, because the processing times Last week I was blaming it on YouTube because the processing times were absurd as well. The processing times on videos. So YouTube has to re-encode your videos. That's why sometimes when you watch a video, there will be weird little speckles and like kind of splotchy pixelated areas. That's on YouTube's end. So what they do is they take a video which is probably, oh, I don't know, I'd say 14,000. I'd say, yeah, it's probably, yeah, I would say it's probably 14 million would be the bit rate. I mean, you can call it 14,000K if you want to or whatever. I don't know. Either way, what happens is the videos require a huge bit rate when they're 60 frames per second with a lot of movement. Like me going like this, that's a big deal in a video. And speaking of which, sorry about that, the drive just died. And so there you go, the problem solved. The drive I was recording to this drive, and then actually both drives died simultaneously. How fun is that? What did we learn? What the hell is that? Ooh, we found a shaft in the mountains. Well then. Happy birthday to me. Let's go take a look. See if there's anything good inside here. But speaking of which, I guess both my drives are lining up to die right now. That's fun. It's enjoyable. The abandoned mine. Sounds exotic. I don't know how I feel about this. It's kind of creepy in here. Flare wouldn't be the worst call. Let's hope that we have the lantern fuel left to handle this. Huh. Apparently, having newsprint and matches is a really big deal in a mine. That's coal right there on the floor. I don't know if I want to haul back like 1,000 pounds of coal with me. Got an outhouse up in here. I bet it's hella smelly over here. I bet it's hella smelly. This is one of those times where you're like super stoked that there's actually not like one of those smell emitting things. For a while, people were getting so futurism and all that, futuristics. People got all excited for a while. I remember I'm doing magazine articles on it about how maybe they would make something that emits various smells that are programmed into the game so that like when you're in a cave, it would smell like a cave. But that would also mean that they would want to program like shacks like that over there to smell like, you know, dookie. All those sorts of things. How bad would that suck to be a smell programmer? Like, that's just your job all day is to like simulate fart smells. God, that would suck. These timbers do not look... Why are the timbers... This is sketchy. Would not recommend this, kids. Would not recommend this. This is a bad plan, and it's not going to work out for you. Don't go into any old abandoned mines. I do it because I'm stupid and I'm a geologist. You, on the other hand, have no excuse, so don't hurt yourself. I bet Splattercat went into a mine. I saw him do it. Obviously, it's safe because he pulled it off. Energy bar in the first aid kit. I may actually transplant all of this back up to right up next to the door so that I don't have to haul it all out. Basically, we take the resources. How much time do we have left in the day? 7 hours. It's going to take me... There was no bed inside the hunting cabin. It's going to take me a minimum of like 3 to 4 hours to get back down the mountain, I think. And I didn't bring a bedroll with me either, so we couldn't... Oh, there's another... Okay. Well... Trying to decide on a plan here. I need to leave a trail for myself, basically breadcrumbs, so that I can get back to the entrance of the mine if this ends up being more expansive than I expect it to be. I think it's probably not going to be that bad, but if this place gets really, really, really kind of windy, twisty, and turny, it could be really, really problematic for us. So, this may be a location that we'll want to come back to once we bring a lot more lantern fuel and some other stuff with us. Also a bedroll, just in case we got to sleep here overnight. And kill that off real fast. 30 minutes to break this down right here. Alright, busted. I think I'm going to break off the episode and check on my hardware here. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me at the Nerd Castle for the next episode of The Long Dark. I appreciate you stopping on by. Cool stuff. I will see you all in future episodes of said Long Dark. Hi to everybody, and I'll see you there.